All right, so when we talk about the spectrum, when you want to talk about the spectrum of bicycles, right? So, the thing about this bike is that this bike actually has uh, more in common with a gravel bike than it does with an actual mountain bike, like a modern mountain bike, right? Like, yes, in terms of purpose and usage, right? It's the same, right? But I'm not just talking about that in terms of purpose. I'm talking about the actual geometry and DNA of this bike. It's more closer, more like the difference between uh, like it's a bigger difference between this and a mountain bike than there is between this and a modern day gravel bike. Like the difference between the geometry of this bike versus a modern gravel bike, the difference is like is negligible. But the difference between a modern progressive mountain bike, the DNA, the difference in geometry is like clear difference, right? Right. The mountain bike geometry definitely is more longer wheelbase, right? So more stable in rougher terrain, right? Uh, so you know that's why like bicycles, like it's all just a spectrum, right? You know, any bike can be any bike, right? It's all about the rider and the mindset of the rider, right? But anyway, but I just think it's just coincidence, right? It's just a fun fact, right? Like yes, you could say, well, number one, this bike really isn't portrayed and marketed as anything, right? Yes, it says mountain bike on the frame, of course. It says it says hardtail on the bike. It's not really an actual hardtail. It's a rigid, fully rigid bike, and fully rigid bikes aren't a thing. Like rigid 29ers really aren't a thing, right? Like they're not popular, right? No one's really buying them, right? They're not a thing, right? Like gravel bikes, they're popular, they're trendy, right? Uh, and that's the only reason I make mention of this, right? So yeah, this bike it has more, the DNA of this bike is more closely resembled to a gravel bike. So in that sense, it is a gravel bike, right? Whereas with this old bike or this other bike, right? This is mountain bike geometry. Like there's nothing about this bike that says, yes, it's old and blah blah blah. I don't care. Yes, it's not really rideable, but I'm just in terms of geometry. Now this is mountain bike geometry, right? Right. Um, you know, uh, medium frame though. The frame's a bit smaller, but mountain bike geometry.